What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Rest Day. This rest day is much welcome. This squat program is absolutely destroying me, and hopefully it's destroying you as well. Anytime I just feel like this squat program is just mopping the floor with me, it's a good day, man. It feels really good. It makes rest days feel earned, but today is not a full rest day, it's an active recovery. So on active recovery days, I like to just choose kind of an activity for me just to stay active. As you guys may or may not know, I like to hit the bag. Today we're gonna hit the bag for 4 2-minute rounds with 1 rest in between each round. So let's go ahead and put them up. It's the bag versus me. This bag is gonna get the business. Hey man, I never said I was a boxer. Never said that. But I do have a little bit of ground experience. I did do some jujitsu, some MMA stuff when I was a lot younger. I used to compete actually. And so I do have a little bit of striking in my blood. But when it comes to boxing, not so much. Boxing is like a whole nother realm of stand-up, man. Take Anderson Silva, for example. Anderson Silva, when he got into the octagon, he was lethal. He was a lethal striker. But when he made that transition over into boxing, or when he just kind of tried out boxing on an amateur level, well, pro, I mean, he fought with Jake Paul. That was considered a pro fight. I know some of y'all don't think Jake Paul's an actual boxer, but he is. Just because he's a YouTuber doesn't mean he's not a boxer. But in any case, man, he went up against Jake Paul and he lost. I'm not gonna make excuses for Anderson. He caught him off base, hit him with a lucky shot, but it's fighting, bro. Anything could happen in the ring. Anything. It's just like the fight with Jake Paul and Tyson coming up. I don't know. Everybody knows Tyson's the legend, and I'm not gonna be one of them cats that say, oh, he's 57. Nah, son. You could be like, oh, I'm going up against a chainsaw. You know, it's a 57-year-old chainsaw. That's still a chainsaw. You know, a lot of us look at age 57 and we look at like our parents or our grandparents or whatever the case may be, and we go like, oh, 57, that's like decrepit. I'm 43. I'm not thinking that in a mere 13 years, I'm gonna be like completely decrepit. And I don't have like world-class genetics. Bro, we're talking about Mike Tyson, probably arguably some of the best genetics in the world. I don't think 57 is really affecting him like that. Not like everybody's thinking it should. In any case, man, I'm about to go up against this bag for 4 rounds. You guys tell me which rounds I won, if any at all, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one, man. So I guess it's a good time to talk about not just the things I do on rest day, but also the things I think about on rest day as well, which is equally important. So on rest days, my mentality is literally still about weightlifting. I'm still thinking about weightlifting. I'm still thinking about, more importantly, what sets exactly I'm going to be doing for the next day. And I'm also thinking about the weight that I'm going to be moving around too. So I try to get as specific as possible when it comes to thinking about what I'm going to be doing for the next day. What that does is this preps my mind so that I'm not thinking about something that doesn't have to deal with my training cycles, especially if I'm on some sort of cycle where I'm trying to achieve a specific goal. If I'm trying to achieve a specific goal, that goal needs to be pretty much at the forefront of my thinking every single day, especially if it's a tough goal, if it's a goal that you know is super difficult to attain. The more difficult of a time that you think you're gonna have attaining that goal, the more you have to think about it. And so right now I'm thinking about a 500-pound squat, like every day. Not just when I'm actively squatting, but when I'm not squatting, like on a rest day. Is what I'm doing right now gonna benefit my squatting? Is what I'm eating right now gonna benefit my squatting? Is what I'm thinking about right now gonna benefit my squatting? It's literally all I'm thinking about. Obviously, you still have other things you need to tend to in life. You might have a family, you might have kids. Obviously, I'm not saying ignore all that other stuff, but all I'm saying is don't ignore your training program on your rest day. The next thing I'll talk about when it comes to rest days is eating, hydration, and cardio. All these things go hand in hand in my mind. Like I said, all this stuff is just my opinion, man. I'm not like a psychologist or a nutritionist or nothing like that. But I can safely say that the things I decide to put in my body on my day off, that's gonna be the fuel that I'm gonna be using come the next day when I jump back into my training cycle. My hydration or lack of hydration will vastly affect my training session for the next day. So if you're the type of person who like sits around, doesn't really worry about their hydration, you're not eating vegetables, you're not eating fruits, you're not eating nuts and seeds, you're not taking in the proper fats, you're not taking in enough protein. When it comes time for you to get back onto your training session the next day, you're gonna feel it, man. But I've always taken the approach of it's not necessarily what you're eating, it's what you're not eating that's more important. So for example, if I decide to eat a pack of Doritos, even the big bag, let's say I decide to eat a big bag, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's a bad thing if you're only eating Doritos. Now we're talking about being adversely affected in the gym. If you're only eating cheeseburgers and French fries and Doritos and ice cream, we might have a problem. I eat cheeseburgers, I eat pizza, I eat nachos. Clearly I eat Doritos, but I also eat spinach, bell peppers, broccoli, bananas, blueberries, almonds, cashews. In other words, I'm not just eating Doritos. I think people could get wrapped up in demonizing certain foods and, Xing out certain foods out of their diet. But a lot of times they're not having like any real conversation about the things that they're not eating. So like I said, when it comes to nutrition, I think it's more important to focus on the things you're not eating as opposed to hyper focusing on the things that you are eating. Last thing I'm gonna talk about during rest days, I'm gonna let you guys go, and that is what sort of things do I do on my rest days? Well, I hit the bag, I might spar. I think hitting the bag is great. I think it keeps you sharp. I think it keeps you agile, and it's functional too. I mean, somebody might try you. You never know. Another thing I think that's perfect that goes hand in hand with Olympic weightlifting on a rest day is bodybuilding. So I might, work just shoulders, I might work just biceps, I might work just traps, bench press, I might work on the quads a little bit, some hamstrings and glutes, but basically it's the rep scheme that I'm focusing on. It's the 10 to 12 to 15 reps for 3 sets, 3 different exercises, just regular, typical bodybuilding stuff. The reason why I feel that bodybuilding goes hand in hand with Olympic weightlifting is because when you bodybuild, you're focusing more on muscle hypertrophy or muscle building. So like on a muscular, cellular level, we're talking about gaining muscle. We're talking about stressing the actual muscle fibers themselves. Normally when we talk about Olympic weightlifting programs, we're talking about like lifting heavy weights. We're talking about pulling a lot of weights. We're talking about squatting a lot of weight. We're talking about cleaning a lot of weight. A lot of these things really tax your central nervous system, your joints, your ligaments, your tendons. They don't really stress out your muscles too much. You know what I'm saying? Like after you finish a tough Olympic weightlifting session, your muscles aren't sore. It's more like your central nervous system is sore, your joints are sore. You're normally Olympic weightlifting, you're gonna pull a tendon or a ligament or something like that. When we're talking about bodybuilding, we're talking about you can possibly pull a muscle. Really kind of two different things, but I think they complement each other really well. By the way, if you've made it this far in the video, hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel grow. If you're getting any value out of my content, it'll help other people see it as well. If you're into Olympic weightlifting, send me a shout out in the comments below. Let me know you're alive and breathing. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video.